Welcome in, everyone, to the Football Addicts Anonymous podcast. Great to have Chris back today. Not talking to myself, answering my own questions like I was on Friday. And yeah, like I told Chris, I'm wearing my Jets Tebow jersey since they got their first win yesterday. Both New York teams somehow in the same way. Well, not the same way, but both in overtime. Really kind of crazy weekend in college football. Some big upsets, as well as some minor ones, and we'll get into that. But starting off Friday, number 5 Iowa spanking Maryland in College Park. This it started out very well for Maryland. They went up 7-3, and I thought they were looking good. I thought it was going to be a close game, and then the defense came up, and Talia started throwing picks, and ended up very poor night on his part, but yeah, whatever. I guess.
Yeah. This was the kind of game I've been waiting for from Maryland, because I mean it's no secret I'm not a big fan of the Tagovailoa brothers. I mean I think that Talia is going to be better than Tua. I mean I think he is better. Not that he's going to be. I still don't believe in Tua whatsoever. But yeah, I'm also happy that I lone wolf this one. I was kind of surprised that I lone wolf this one. Why was
Mark,
that?
Mark had in his text of his picks, he put like a question mark beside Maryland. And I was like, I mean, I picked Maryland just because it was a Friday night game and it was in College Park and it wasn't in Iowa City. So that's why I picked Maryland. I thought they could get it done at home and they had it was even a special night too. They were having a blackout there. Thought that was they could have got the crowd into it, but again, the interceptions was really the biggest thing in this game. Iowa having short fields all night pretty much. And also what hurt them too, their best wide receiver, Dante Demas Jr., got injured. I didn't follow up and see what the exact injury was, but it looked like a fractured ankle or something to that extent. Yeah, it was really bad. When you saw it, it was on a kick return. And then the announcers were talking about, well, it's been more of a thing recently where head coaches are putting starters on special teams units just to get a little bit of a leg up. But this is one of the things where that can happen when you put starters on special teams. They can get hurt easier than on just regular offense or defense. So, but yeah, he fumbled when he got injured, and just another turnover for Iowa or for Maryland. So Iowa covered -3 over 48 hit. Iowa got it by themselves. Defensively, I don't know. With Ami Finau from Maryland.
Yeah. I don't know. Iowa's been one of these surprise teams though. I know they were a good team or whatever, but I didn't expect them to be like a top 5 team already.
Yeah, they moved up to number 3 in the poll this week. So I'm really excited for this showdown this coming weekend. Iowa, Penn State, top 5 matchup. All right. Also on Friday, number 13, BYU stayed undefeated, beating Utah State in Provo 34-20. Or in Logan, Utah. No, Utah State's in Logan. BYU's in Provo.
Yep.
I believe. I believe anyways. But this was for the old wagon wheel, Utah showdown here. And Baylor Romney actually got injured during this game, so they went to their third string quarterback because Baylor Romney was already the backup to Jaron Hall, who didn't play in this one. And I mean, I live bet Utah State money line just because I was like, well, why not? BYU's playing their third string quarterback. There's no way they can now. But it didn't matter because he didn't have to do much. Tyler Algier carried the load all night.
Mm-hmm.
And Utah State's offense couldn't do enough against what has been a pretty good BYU defense so far.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to comment on the difference in the quarterbacks, but I didn't know that Romney got hurt. But yeah, like you said, Algier, or however you say that, that's an incredible night right there. Almost 10 yards of carry, 3 touchdowns. And I mean, just to add a little spice, he caught 3 balls for 22 yards too. So, like, obviously you're not going to get that kind of performance every single time or every single game. But when you get those kind of performances, you're almost guaranteed to win. So, yeah, that was a great game for him.
Yeah, Algier is one of my favorite players that returned for the BYU team this year. It also, the question popped up into my head, like, does this make Zach Wilson look bad? Or is it just make the BYU recruiting look very good? Because you're still winning without Zach Wilson.
No, I think it's, well, like you said already, the BYU has a great defense as it is. So that has nothing to really do with Zach Wilson because that's the defensive side of the ball. And I mean, obviously, like in this game specifically, the quarterback didn't win the game. It was because they ran the ball so much. So this game, I wouldn't say is really any indication about Zach Wilson. The other games, though, possibly. I can't really remember them off the top of my head right now. But yeah, this game, the quarterback really had nothing to do with this game for BYU. So I wouldn't say anything about him. Plus, I mean, Zach Wilson finally had a good game in the NFL. So
yeah, the BYU defense has held every opponent under 30 so far. Under 28, actually. Their highest they gave up was last week to USF 27. But defensively, I'm going to go with Marcus Moore for Utah State. 9 tackles, 3 solos, 2.5 tackles for loss, and a QB hurry.
Nice.
Yeah, Devin Tompkins for the Aggies, over 100 yards receiving and a touchdown.
I also like the defensive back there on the bottom, Caleb Hayes. 3 pass deflections or defenses or whatever.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good game, too.
BYU covered -8, under 66. All right, Saturday's games. Number 2, Georgia shutting out Arkansas 37-0 in Athens. Yes, it was a great time. Neither of my both of my college teams didn't give up a point this weekend, so I didn't have to sweat either game, which was nice. But JT Daniels didn't start in this one, still dealing with his right lat injury. Stetson Bennett didn't have to do much in this because the Dogs ran all over the Hogs to a tone of 273 yards on the ground at just under 5 per carry.
They really used their whole arsenal of running backs there, huh?
Oh yeah. They have started to just, do a committee. And while I would still love for Zeus to be getting 100 yards, James Cook has looked great. Dalvin's little brother. So,
Well, yeah, this kind of begs the question too. I mean, you kind of just mentioned about Zach Wilson with the BYU game. Does this kind of hurt the UJ running backs draft stock?
I don't think it is because I think, especially Cook and White, I think both of those two are really the only two that I could see playing in the NFL right now, because I think McIntosh and Milton both have a year, maybe 2 years each left. But yeah, I think both Cook and White can play it in the next level. White's more of a bruiser, though. I don't think he is as sound out of the backfield in the receiving game. But I think James Cook is probably the more complete one out of the two. I think he is more like his brother, really. That he
And
can
I mean,
do both.
it helps when you already have a brother in the NFL.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just the name alone is going to get him some scouts at his games and stuff.
Lad McConkey on the screen again. He led the game in receiving yards with 27. And yeah, UGA held Arkansas to 162 total yards and 2.6 per carry for Arkansas. They also shot themselves in the foot. Arkansas did 101 yards in penalties. So
I'll tell you what, though, too. Speaking of the draft stock with running backs, right there I see the 0-yard block punt return for the touchdown error. If you could play special teams, obviously you're going to be looked at too, and making plays like that is definitely going to help you. So good for Zamir White there.
yeah, he recovered it after Dan Jackson, the defensive back, blocked it in the end zone, which was also one of my favorite moments of this weekend. So. Defensively, I'm going to Kobe Dean, 4 tackles, 1 solo, 1.5 sacks, and 2 tackles for loss. Your guy Bumper's on there. That's Mark's guy. Bumper. Yeah. Georgia covered minus 16.5 and under 49. I know a lot of people are on Arkansas plus 16.5, but no. Number 14, Michigan, blowing out Wisconsin in Madison, 38-17. McNamara, pretty solid. He didn't turn it over. I just don't think. I still don't believe in Cade McNamara. I'm not high on him, but I mean, Graham Mertz sucks. So, but both quarterbacks got injured in this game. That's why J.J. McCarthy had to come in for Michigan. I forget who the guy is.
One pass.
Wolf, yeah, Chase Wolf had to come in for Wisconsin. Well, McNamara eventually came back.
Oh.
But yeah, McCarthy was in for a little bit, and he was in early on too. For that rushing touchdown, it was a QB sneak at the goal line because he's bigger than McNamara is. I was disappointed in this game. I would have hit one of my other little 3-leg parlays had this one gone under, and it would have been under, at least I think, had stupid Chase Wolf not turn the ball over twice inside their own 30-yard line for Wisconsin. That's really the only reason that Michigan blew it open like they did, because they got 2 short fields in back-to-back drives. And then it was still okay until late, when all Michigan had to do was run the ball, and they would have been able to run the clock out. I think there was like 4 or 5 minutes to go. Like, they get 2 first downs, they run the clock out. But no, what do? They decide to throw a bomb. I think it was to Cornelius Johnson, maybe. Or no, Dalen Baldwin. Yeah. They just decide to throw a deep shot. And when they're already winning 31-10. And yeah, and then Wisconsin scored another touchdown later. So yeah, that was why I was frustrated. But yeah, it is what it is. Wisconsin sucks. They need to find a quarterback.
For our thing too.
Yeah, I picked Wisconsin because of their defense, not their offense. But yeah, Graham Mertz is terrible. I mean, they are sorely missing Jack Cohn right now. But defense, David Ojabo, for Michigan. Actually, I don't know. Him and Daxton Hill both are pretty tough lines.
I mean, Daxton Hill filled out more categories, but I think David Ojabo, the categories that he did fill up, I think he did pretty well in. So, yeah, like you said, it's kind of hard to pick between those two, but I think I'd lean towards Ojabo there.
My guy Jack Sanborn still tackling people out there.
Yeah.
One of the better linebackers. Michigan +2 covered over 44. Big 12, Texas beating TCU 32-27. And Bijan, I mean, he was a beast in this one. I was watching this game. I had Texas -4, and I hit it. So I was glad that happened. This was actually really a great game for both running backs. Bijan and Zach Evans for TCU has really come on for them in the last couple of games. But, yeah, Steve Sarkisian said that when asked about how many carries are you going to limit Bijan to, he said, we'll give him as many as it takes to win. So,
I like that answer.
Took 35 to win in this one for Bijan. So, yeah. Neither quarterback played outstanding. Both turned it over. So.
No, I was going to say, Dugan, I don't remember. Is this the second or third game that we've had TCU on here? And I don't think Dugan's had a good game in any of those games that we've covered them in yet. So, yeah, he's not looking too good this year.
Yeah. And this was also a rivalry game. I don't remember what the trophy was, though. Defensively, Dylan Horton for TCU, 9 tackles, 3 solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles lost, and a quarterback hurry. Texas, like I said, covered -4, under 66. Number 24, Wake Forest, 5-0, beating Louisville 37-34. Wake Forest, the last remaining undefeated ACC team. Look at the Demon Deacons go. Sam Hartman, 300-yard performance in this one. Also got 35 on the ground and 3 total touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, really, really great quarterback duel. Him and Malik Cunningham slinging it around. And yeah, I mean, they got it. I don't believe it. I don't think it was a game-winning kick. It might have been. I didn't get to watch it, but yes, it was. 22 seconds to go. Nick Skiba, 29-yard field goal to win it.
I'm kind of surprised that was how close this game was. I thought it would have been put away in the fourth quarter, like way earlier than that, but no, it took the last second field goal to win the game.
Well, I think it's because of Malik Cunningham. Malik Cunningham's everything for Louisville right now. So, but yeah, Jakari Robinson, great day for him. Taylor Morin as well, both over 100 yards for the Demon Deacs. And defensively, I'm going to go with Jasheen Davis for Wake. 5 tackles, 2 solos, half sack, half tackle for loss, and a quarterback hurry.
How about Travion Red, though? 11 tackles. For a defensive back, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Louisville covered +7, over 65. 71 in that one. Number 7, Cincinnati, undefeated still, beating number 9, Notre Dame, 24-13 in South Bend. And Cincinnati backers probably thought to themselves, we should not have had to sweat this much like they did because of how it started when it was 17-0 at halftime. And then, you know, Notre Dame got 2 scores, make it 17-13 with 8:20 to go in the fourth quarter. And then Desmond Ritter sealed it with about 5 minutes to go with the rushing touchdown. But yeah.
I had Notre Dame in this one, and I obviously put a little too much faith in them this week because I believe I lone wolfed them, and yeah, I don't know really why I went with Notre Dame because I did kind of think that Cincinnati was going to pull this one off, but I don't know, maybe I was just trying to make up some ground or something. But yeah, Cincinnati definitely outplayed Notre Dame. I don't know why they really let them come back, but yeah, it's a
Yeah,
good overall game though by Cincinnati, I think.
yeah. Jack Cohn got hurt in the middle of this one. Drew Pine came back in for him. But Desmond Ritter, I think, is still there. People are putting Bryce Young, which we'll see in 2 games here, but they're putting Bryce Young's the favorite now. Matt Corral, I believe, is second. But I think Desmond Ritter still's got a shot. If Cincinnati is undefeated, I think how can he not get an invite to New York at least? So
Yeah, he's definitely making his case, and I don't know, maybe it's because he's kind of like a underdog, dark horse kind of candidate, but yeah, I think he has a solid shot right now.
well, they did move up to number 5 in the poll, so they are now officially a top 5 team. They just need to get in the top 4
Mm-hmm.
when the
Keep
real
on
rankings
winning.
come out. Michael Mayer, though, tight end for Notre Dame, continues to have a great season. I added him to the board this week, so he is officially on my board of players that I've been impressed with this season so far. So, you picking Myjai Sanders for defense, or are you gonna go Kobe Bryant?
I don't know. I mean, I normally like the defensive line guys better, but I also like when cornerbacks have that PED next to their name and a solid number next to that too, which is 3. So yeah, I like Kobe Bryant's numbers there. 7 tackles to go along with that too.
And the fact that he's named after the GOAT.
Yeah.
Cincinnati covered -2 under 50. Number 16, Coastal Carolina, another warm-up game before they have their trip to Appalachian State in 2 weeks. 59-6 rolling over UL Monroe. Grayson McCall didn't last too long in this game, but because he was perfect, really, that's why he didn't last too long in this game. And his backup quarterbacks were also perfect.
I was going to say, did they miss a single pass all game? Because they're all perfect on the sheet here. Did anybody else attempt to pass?
I believe, yes. There was one other quarterback that came in before Zachary Stevens. Bryce Carpenter came in. Well, I don't know if it was before or after, whatever. But he came in and he was 3 of 6. But the overall quarterback stat line for the Coastal quarterbacks, 21 of 24, 282 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, I see Zachary Stevens 1 for 1 with a touchdown. So his one pass was a touchdown. And Jarrett Guest only threw 4 times, but he did get a touchdown as well. So
yeah.
This is the kind of game I kind of expected to happen. Coastal taking on UL Monroe, but yeah, not much to really say about this. Coastal keeps rolling on, and I don't know who they're playing next weekend, but
Arkansas State on a Thursday, though. Got to be careful going to Arkansas State on a Thursday.
Yeah, so we won't have them on our slate for next weekend, but that's all right.
Yeah. Reese White getting 95 yards on the ground. Isaiah Likely 95 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns off his 5 catches. Caught both of Grayson's touchdowns. A lot of other short yardage guys. And then, Aaron Bedgood as well. Wide receiver returned a blocked punt 9 yards for a touchdown. And defensively, I'm going with Jeffrey Gunter. 4 tackles, all of them solos, 2 tackles for loss, and a pass deflection.
I like it.
Oh, and the guy that blocked that punt was running back CJ Beasley there. 2 carries, 14 yards, and a touchdown. Coastal covered minus 33.5 and over 58 by themselves.
Just barely, but they still did it.
Number 1, Alabama destroying number 12 Ole Miss, 42-21 in Tuscaloosa. Bryce Young, great game. Did throw an interception, but other than that, efficient. Didn't have to do much. Bijan Robinson was a beast. Or not Bijan. Bijan plays for Texas. Brian Robinson for Alabama, 36 carries, 173 yards, and 4 total touchdowns there.
Yeah. When I saw the score of this game, though, I didn't know what to think. I didn't really look into it, but 42-21 seems like I don't know. It seems like Alabama either didn't score enough or Ole Miss scored more than I expected. I don't know which it was, but it just seems like the game was closer than it should have been.
It was not close at all. It was 35-0 in the third quarter, and then Ole Miss scored their first touchdown. And they scored their other 2 touchdowns. They scored their other 2 in the fourth quarter.
Okay. But still, Alabama only scored 42, though. I feel like they should have scored closer to like over 50, I think.
I mean, they cruised. They started cruising, running the ball with Brian Robinson. Once they were up 5 scores.
Yeah, I can tell 36 carries, yeah.
So, yeah, this one really, it could have been closer. Lane Kiffin went for it a lot on 4th down early on in the game. I mean, they were 2 for 5 overall on 4th down on the day, but I believe their first 3 drives of the game, they got stopped on 4th down, and then Alabama scored touchdowns on all 3 of the ensuing drives. And then also, one of those first 3 drives, they went for it inside their own, 35 on 4th and inches or something like that, and they didn't get it. Got to punt the ball.
Yeah.
Just because it's Alabama and you got to score touchdowns doesn't mean you got to give them short fields. Yeah, defensively, a lot of good stats here. Will Anderson Jr., I got to put him on the board because he's having a fantastic season so far for the Tide. 9 tackles, 4 solos, sack, 2.5 sacks lost, and 2 QB hurries. And my guy Chance Campbell for Ole Miss already on the board. So good game for him as well. Bama covered minus 15, under 80. It was 80 for this game.
That's what I'm saying. I thought that there was going to be a lot more scoring in this one, but it didn't happen.
Bama's defense.
I mean, I didn't really expect it to hit 80, but I thought it would have been way closer than 63.
Yeah. Stanford, biggest upset of the weekend, 31-24 over number 3 Oregon. This one was in Palo Alto for Stanford at home in overtime. But it should have never got there. If you heard, Chris, have you seen the play?
I don't believe so.
Well, we're just going to take the time to get this play shown. I wasn't planning on showing it, but we're going to do it anyways.
Yeah, we're cruising along here. Why
not? Trying to find. Okay, here we go. It's pretty loud, but yeah, we're gonna do it anyways. New share. Let's go to Google Chrome. All right, so we got. This is gonna show you the whole drive. We don't need to see the whole drive. We just need to see. So this is the play. Okay.
Inside the 5, the tight end, Jurassic. Be a little extra physical, I think. McKee.
So this is the play. 3rd and goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, they got one more play after this. And I believe this is the play anyways. Maybe it's not. Maybe it happened on 4th down.
Looking to throw toward the end zone, incomplete. And
so
one
happens
last
on
chance
4th
coming
down.
up here for Stanford.
So they got 4th and goal. Last play of the game. Down by a touchdown. And this is what happens.
Play snapped. McKee over the top, and it will be incomplete. Here comes a flag. Humphreys had a chance to catch it anyway. It went through his hands.
Exactly.
And the downside of the pass
exactly.
interference
Where
is
is the pass
you give
interference?
Stanford another play.
Yeah, no, by Humphreys. And they've been
Any contact whatsoever.
There was absolutely no contact. And then Stanford does this.
play, but not that one.
All right. Stanford goes to the other side. This one is caught.
To send it to overtime, and then they walk down they get touchdown.
I feel like that was more pass interference on that play than anything on the other one. That was like offensive pass interference almost on that touchdown.
Yeah. So that was the BS call that everyone was complaining about. I was complaining too because I had live bet. Oregon was down 10-0 early, and I live bet Oregon -1.5. I was like, bro, the Ducks are going to come back. I already know that. And they should have. They should have won.
Mm-hmm.
The refs giving away calls. I mean, it was just ridiculous. But it is what it is. So, not a big fan of Stanford. But Tanner McKee, though, he has really helped the Cardinal progress since their opening loss to Kansas State week 1, and 3-1 since that. So, only other loss being to UCLA.
Yeah,
But,
they've looked good, but yeah, Oregon definitely should have won this one. But how bad did this affect Oregon's ranking here?
not too badly. I believe they went down to, let's see. They went down to 8.
Yeah, I mean, at least they're still in the top 10, but I don't know if they take into consideration like what actually happens during the game when they do the rankings, but yeah, that pass interference call is the reason they lost. And that was one of the worst calls I've ever seen. Like the only other time I could think of that a call, or I guess I should say a non-call, was worse was the Saints versus Rams in the playoffs a few years ago when the guy literally ran into him and it was not called. So yeah, that one was pretty bad.
Travis Dye for Oregon, a little shy of 100 on the ground in this one. Defensively, I mean, Gabe Reed and Keon Ware-Hudson just were stacking the stat sheet.
Mm-hmm.
That's just ridiculous that what both those guys did. But I'll go with Gabe Reed for Stanford. Half sack, tackle for loss, pass flexion, QB hurry, and a pick.
Yeah, I mean, both of those obviously, like the half a sack, whatever, that means that they were doing it with somebody else. But looks like Gabe Reed had more solo stats than Ware Hudson did. So yeah, I would go with Gabe Reed too.
Stanford cover plus 8.5, under 58. Number 6, Oklahoma taking down Kansas State 37-31 in Manhattan, Kansas. And Skylar Thompson returned from injury, had a great game, just wasn't enough. Defense couldn't help him out and get enough stops. And actually, this game wasn't actually that close. It was a 2-touchdown game, or a 13-point game, before Malik Knowles returned a 97-yard kick return touchdown. And then KSU had to go for the onside kick to try to get it back to go and win the game, but couldn't get the onside kick, unfortunately. And I guess Rattler played better in this one. I mean, he was very efficient, but he threw an interception.
Yeah, my preseason pick of him as the Heisman isn't looking all that hot right now. I mean, I think he's still in the conversation, but as you stated, I don't think he's the favorite anymore. Still has a shot at being invited or whatever to the finalists, but yeah, Oklahoma has been scaring me all season. They're 5-0, yeah, they are undefeated, but they haven't had a lot of pretty wins so far this season. I mean, you mentioned that they were up by 13 or whatever late in the game, but still.
Yeah. Again, like I said, I was impressed with Skylar Thompson's return. And but Deuce Vaughn, let me tell you, when this guy gets to the league next year, he's going to be a PPR machine, as you can see. 10 receptions, 104 yards, and a touchdown. Yeah, he's gonna be like a Boston Scott. He's real tiny.
Yeah, I like that. I like. I mean, he's gonna be probably big in dynasty leagues more than anything. I don't know if he's gonna be a regular fantasy guy, but dynasty leagues he'll definitely be a solid pickup.
Yeah, but he is lightning fast though. Anyways, defensively, not much. Isaiah Thomas, sure, 4 tackles, 2 sack, 2 tackles for loss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's not much to go by, but yeah.
Kansas State cover plus 12.5, over 54. Even though I picked them wrong, I did tell you they would cover on Friday, and they did.
Yeah.
Number 11, Ohio State crushing Rutgers 52-13 in Jersey. CJ Stroud returned as the starter after Kyle McCord played last week. And yeah, he did pretty well. 335 touchdowns, no turnovers. And yeah, it didn't matter that it was in Jersey.
Yeah, I thought about picking Rutgers for this game because Rutgers, obviously, it was at home, and Rutgers has actually looked pretty good so far this season, with their 3-1 record prior to this game. And Ohio State, despite their 3-1 record as well, I feel like they haven't looked all that great this year. But yeah, I couldn't go against Ohio State in this one. They were the ranked team, and yeah, Ohio State still has that slight. I just think that they're. I mean, I can't say slightly because they absolutely demolished Rutgers, but yeah, I think they were the clear better team here. I mean, the quarterback play was about even though, except for the fact that Stroud had over twice as many yards, but the completions and attempts were about the same. So Stroud just did more with his opportunities, I guess. I mean, clearly 5 touchdowns to 1. And the fact that Noah Vedral or Vedral, however you say it, also had 3 turnovers there with the 3 interceptions.
Yeah. Receivers had this is Mark would have been happy with that stat line from Chris Olave. 5 catches, 119, 2 touchdowns. Aaron
Mhm.
Cruikshank as well for Rutgers, over 100 yards and a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, defensively, I'm going to go with Denzel Burke for Ohio State. He had 3 tackles, but he had a 23-yard pick 6. So
I'm just gonna highlight Ola Kunle Fatukasi. I am assuming he's a relative of the Fatukasi that is on the Jets.
Foyesade?
Hmm?
Oh no, that's the guy.
No, Walaronzo or whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was thinking about Aluakon for Atlanta. But yeah. Ohio State covered minus 14.5 and over 58 because of Rutgers. SMU staying undefeated. The Mustangs blowing out USF 41-17. Tanner Mordecai continues to just put touchdowns on the board. He has a ridiculous, I believe he's up to 24 touchdowns now through 5 games. Because he was averaging 5 touchdowns per game coming into this one. And
keep that up.
So
One
yeah.
short.
But yeah, Siggers had another good game for them. Bentley didn't do much. I don't know his exact yardage because he's not on here, but yeah, Siggers was the main ball carrier in this one for SMU.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to point out though, even though it was a losing effort, I think Jimmy Horn there for USF, that's a pretty solid day. 5 for 102, no touchdowns, but still 5 for 102 is a pretty solid performance.
Yeah. And defensively, Dwayne Boyles for USF, 10 tackles, 5 solos, 1.5 tackles for loss, and a pick. Rasheed Rice had a good day. All 3 of the top 3 SMU receivers, great days for them, all getting in the end zone. SMU covered minus 21.5 and under 69.
Just under. Oh, no, wait, no.
58.
58, not 60.
Yeah. Ball State with a shocker, beating Army. This was at Ball State. So Army had to travel to Indiana. But, yeah, I mean, Drew Plitt, decent. I guess it was just the Cardinals' defense, really, that shut down the triple option for Army. And I don't know if Tyler got hurt because or what. I don't know. Or if they put Jamel Jones in at the end because he's a better passer. But Tyler's definitely the starting quarterback, and he threw less times than Jamel Jones. So
yeah, I mean, obviously you said it right there with Tyler. 24 carries for 63 yards. That's obviously not a great average, but that's where he shines, is on the ground. He scored 2 touchdowns. But I don't know. The triple option, I feel like this is how these kind of games can go. The triple option can either get you in the position to blow your opponents out, or the opponents figure you out like Ball State did here for Army, and you can't really do anything all day.
yeah. One of my favorite names in college football, Johannes Tyler, having the leading receiver on the day, 85 yards off 5 catches and a touchdown. His running mate, Justin Hall, 7 receptions for 78, and added a 99-yard kickoff return touchdown. That was the opening kickoff of the game, I believe. And defensively, I don't want to go with Nathaniel Smith because he only had one tackle, but he did put up the stat sheet with his one tackle. So I think you're going to go with Cole Pierce.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I like that 14 tackles there and 9 solos. I mean, both of those guys there for Ball State, though, Cole Pierce and Clayton Cole, or however you say that, 26 total tackles and 16 solos and 3 tackles for loss. That's a great stat line for any defense. But yeah, tough day for Army, but I think they'll bounce back.
Ball State cover plus 10, under 47. Another upset, Kentucky taking down number 10 Florida 20-13. This was in Lexington. And Will Levis didn't have to do much. He didn't do much, I should say. Not that he didn't do much. Because they leaned on Chris Rodriguez. They leaned on the special teams. And as evidenced by Trevin Wallace's 76-yard blocked field goal return for a touchdown, that was a massive point in this game.
It's the difference in the game.
Yeah. And Kentucky's defense was stout all day. They got the stop at the end on fourth down to turn the ball over and win the game. So
is it time to start taking Kentucky seriously now?
I don't know, because they have to play Georgia. Being in the East of the SEC. So probably not. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Chris Rodriguez, has had a great season so far. But yeah, they still have LSU, Georgia. They got to go to Mississippi State. And I think even Louisville at the end of the season could give them some trouble with Malik Cunningham, especially because that's a Kentucky rivalry.
Yeah. Was this their best opponent to this point so far?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of the signature wins, though, for their season so far. And yeah, I kind of wish Mark was on right now because he lone wolfed them. But yeah, I was shocked when I saw this. But obviously, like you said, the blocked field goal return for the touchdown was the difference here.
Yeah, see, I don't even care that I lost the pick. I just cared that Kentucky won for my parlay. I hit a Kentucky, Nevada, and Texas Tech money line parlay. Texas Tech beat West Virginia. That one was at Texas Tech. And then Nevada went to Boise State and beat them. So, yeah, it's a pretty solid day there. Kentucky plus 7.5, under 57. Number 23, NC State having a little bit of trouble against Louisiana Tech, 34-27. I mean, it was kind of known that they were going to have a struggle, coming off such a high of beating Clemson. Devin Leary was solid, no turnovers. It was interesting. I didn't even know that Austin Kendall was the starting quarterback for Louisiana Tech. If you know where he's from.
Where?
He was an Oklahoma quarterback, and then he was West Virginia last year. And now he's at Louisiana Tech. But I think Devin Leary, this is what he's kind of got to do every week. Because if they can keep leaning on Ricky Person Jr. and Zonovan Knight in the running game, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
Their defense, I don't think, is the greatest, but they're going to limit the opposing drives by getting first downs on the ground. So, great name, Bub Means. For Tech, 6 for 95 and a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And defensively, Tristan Allen for the Bulldogs, 2 tackles, 2 solo, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, 3 QB hurries.
Yeah, I like Isaiah Moore there too for NC State. 10 tackles, 7 solo, a sack, a tackle for loss, and a QB hurry.
Louisiana Tech covered plus 17.5 and over 56. UTSA undefeated as well for UNLV. Did not think that was going to be that close, but
No.
UNLV has shown the last couple of weeks, especially, they had their game against Fresno State where they came up just short. And now they have this one where they come up just short against an undefeated team. I think UNLV is actually starting, to become a team that can start to find some wins maybe within the next couple of years.
Yeah.
But, Frank Harris, great in this one, 80%. Sincere, almost 90 yards on the ground. Not great average, but, that's what UTSA is going to do is run with Sincere. So, yeah.
Yeah, this game kind of scared me too because, you already mentioned how close it was. I've never really been a big fan of UTSA outside of Sincere. Obviously, you are probably the ultimate Sincere McCormick fan of us here at FAA. But no, this game made me nervous though because obviously the records are mirror opposites of each other. UTSA is undefeated 5-0, UNLV's 0-5, and so this game was a little closer than I would have liked it to be, but UTSA has done what they've done all season and found the way to win.
And Steve Jenkins for UNLV, DeCorian Clark for UTSA, both over 100 receiving. Defensively, Dadrian Taylor for the Roadrunners, 7 tackles, 5 solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss.
I like it.
UNLV covered plus 21.5 under 56. Mississippi State upsets number 15 Texas A&M 26-22. Back-to-back losses for A&M. Will Rogers, what a day, young man. 408, 3 touchdowns on 1 short of 60 attempts. No turnovers. They didn't run the ball at all. And got the win.
Yeah. We need Mark on here to rant about Texas A&M again. Because I don't know what's been going on with them the last 2 weeks.
They don't have
yeah, but I feel like the team is good enough to win games, especially like a game like this against Mississippi State. I feel like they should have won this game. They got Isaiah Spiller, who continues to have a solid season, 16 for 100 yards. You said that the quarterback wasn't the greatest. He had a turnover, but he still got 2 touchdowns. 12 for 20, 60%. That's not the best. 135 yards, yeah. I don't know. I guess it was just he got completely outplayed by Will Rogers. But, yeah, I don't know. This just completely messes up my my preseason prediction if it wasn't already screwed up.
Yeah, Iowa State sucks, so you're already out.
Hey, at least my top 4 are still somewhat alive.
Yeah, they need to figure out the quarterback situation, or I don't know. I guess you can't really figure it out. You got who you got at this point, but yeah, Isaiah Spiller's really the guy that can carry the team. Him and Mekhi Polk, or no, Mekhi Polk plays for Mississippi State. Never mind. But Mekhi Polk had a great day. 13 receptions, 126 and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, I think they need to get Weidermeyer more involved in the passing game for Texas A&M. He is a dynamic tight end that I haven't seen a stat line from him in any of his games so far that I thought was that great. So,
well, I mean, maybe it's just this game, but he seems to be a red zone target. Because I mean, he only got 2 catches for 17 yards and a touchdown. So, to me, that sounds like he was only thrown to when they were in the red zone.
yeah. 2 guys on defense here. You can take Tyreek.
Oh yeah, I like that.
I'll take the Marvin Leal because this is the kind of game that I've been waiting to see from him because he came into the season as a highly regarded defensive lineman. And again, I haven't necessarily seen a lot from him, but he can wreck the game pretty quickly. 4 tackles, 2 solos, 2 sacks, 2.5 tackles lost, and a pass deflection. Mississippi State +7 over 46. By 2. 12 ranked matchup number 19 Oklahoma State undefeated beating Baylor number 21 Baylor 24-14. And Mark's cousin just rolled Baylor's defense. I mean, it was only 3.5 per carry, but getting 36 carries, 125 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Solid day there.
Yeah, I lone wolf Baylor here, and I know you said you weren't sure why I picked them or whatever, but it was just because I was trying to get a game on you. It clearly didn't work out in this one. But I mean, Baylor, Jerry Bohannon had a terrible game there, at least in the air. 13 for 27, that's under 50%, and 173 yards. But he did have 9 carries for a touchdown, 13 yards, whatever. But now I look at Abram Smith though, 10 for 97 and a touchdown's pretty good. So maybe they should have taken a page out of Oklahoma State's playbook and fed the ball to him a little bit more.
Tay Martin for the Cowboys, 6 for 110 yards there. And a lot of great defensive performances in this one. A lot of tackles, especially for Baylor's linebackers. Dylan Doyle, Matt Jones, 15 and 14 total tackles. But I am loving Colin Oliver for the Pokes. 6 tackles, 5 solos, 2 sacks, 3 tackles lost, and 3 QBs.
Yeah, I got to agree with you there. Oliver probably had the best overall stat line.
Malcolm Rodriguez for me is close. Oklahoma State covered -4 under 47. Liberty getting back on track. Russian UAB 36-12 in Birmingham. Malik Willis not too much under 20 attempts, but he ran it for 144 yards and 2 touchdowns. So that's where he did his damage in this one. And I felt bad for Mark, Lone Wolf and the Blazers.
Yep, we got him back for the Kansas game in this one. But yeah, this was a straight up game. Liberty took care of business. Not much to really say about UAB.
Jermaine Brown, though, for UAB did have over 100 yards on the ground off only 9 carries for a touchdown. Jonathan Bennett for Liberty, backup quarterback, threw a touchdown. Douglas had 100 receiving for Liberty. And defensively, Rolfs Rusens, 2 tackles solo, 1.5 sacks, 1.5 tackles lost. Story Jackson, I believe I added him to the board. If not, I have to because he's been putting up numbers for the Liberty defense all season so far, and he has a great name.
Yeah, I like it.
Liberty +3, under 49. How they were ever underdog, I have no idea.
Yeah, I didn't know why they were either, but no, whatever.
Like Mark said, UNLV was opening a new stadium. Number 4, Penn State. Shutting out Indiana 24-0. Yeah. Sean Clifford, if okay. Missed a bunch of throws, but really, Penn State running game, Kevon Lee, Noah Kane and the like, held it down as well as one of the best defenses in the country, Penn State. They shut down Michael Penix. And when Jack Tuttle came in, shut him down too. Picked them off each. Yeah. And unlike Jalen Weidermeyer for A&M, Indiana is actually using their star tight end, Peyton Hendershot, leading receiver in this game. Barely. Just barely. Over Jahan Dotson, who is on the board. 8 receptions, 84 yards, 2 touchdowns. Continues a great season. Also completed his one trick play throw for 21 yards. And defensively, I'm going to keep going on Penn State. I know Micah McFadden has better stats, but I'm going to keep going Penn State. Brandon Smith, linebacker U, 5 tackles, 2 solos, sack, tuck, floss, pass, flexion, and QB. You can go Indiana. You can talk about Micah McFadden if you want.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll give Indiana a little bit of hype there. I mean, there wasn't much to be happy about for Indiana this weekend. They were pretty bad. Obviously getting shut out, but that also meant that their defense was on the field probably a lot. But yeah, I think both of those guys there that you have on the stat sheet for Indiana, Anderson and McFadden, both had solid days. They both had 8 tackles, 7 of which were solo between the two. They both had a tackle for a loss. McFadden had a 1.5 and 3 QB hurries. So for what it's worth, they were at least pretty solid on defense.
Yeah, I mean, they are pretty good on defense as they were last year. Penn State covered -12. I hit that one as well. Under 54. Number 17, Michigan State beating Western Kentucky 48-31. I was disappointed. I had another little 3-leg parlay that was all spreads. And Western Kentucky was the last, or it was a 4-leg. Western Kentucky was the last one. I had the Texas Tech, the Kentucky, and the Nevada spreads, which they all won. And then I had Western Kentucky +10.5. And they had a shot. They scored twice real quick in the fourth quarter. And then I was like, bro, they just need to go down. Bailey Zappi, he can do it. He can score a touchdown to get it to a 10-point game. That'll cover the spread. And he couldn't get it done. Michigan State's defense, too good. But, I mean, dude, I still love Bailey Zappi. Almost 500 yards in this game. 3 touchdowns, 64 attempts. Only turned it over once. They did. Yeah. The Western defense just had no answer for Kenneth Walker. That was the biggest issue.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't even really want to talk about Bailey Zappi because he's your guy. You talked about him a lot, but 64 pass attempts in one game is insane. And their leading rusher there is Whittington with 7 carries for 37 yards. That's To me, you're not going to win a game like that. Obviously, they have won a game this year, but they're 1-3 now. So teams obviously expect them to throw the ball a lot.
Well, I don't think they are 1-3 because of a lack of running game. They're 1-3 because of their schedule. And I mean, rightfully so. The AD at Western Kentucky did a good job of non-conference schedule. I mean, they played UT Martin. That's their only win, and they blew them out. But there's other 3 non-conference games so far. At Army, which they only lost by 3. They hosted Indiana. They lost by 2. And then they have to go to East Lansing to a top 20 team. And they lost by 17, but I think
I'm kind of surprised, though, that this is the game that they lost by the most points.
Why? Michigan State's the best team out of those 3.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, never mind. I don't know. I thought you said like Iowa or something when you said Indiana. I don't know. But no. Yeah, this makes more sense then, yeah.
That's why they're 1-3 though. Because their schedule's been absolutely just terrible. Hard. And I mean, it doesn't get any easier. They got to host UTSA next week. Who is 5?
That's a winnable game, though, I think.
It is. Western's actually favored by 3. We'll have that game. We'll have that game on our schedule because of UTSA being 5-0. So,
all right.
But yeah, the rest of their games after UTSA, I mean, every team has at least 2 losses. So I still am holding out hope for my Western Kentucky Conference USA Championship T-shirt. Okay. Michigan State covered -10.5 over 67. 79 in this one. Actually, we didn't even talk about the rest of the game. Just thought about that. Peyton Thorne did throw over 100 yards and 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jarrett Stearns, I mean, dude, 17 receptions, 186 yards and a touchdown. Mitchell Tinsley also over 100 yards for Western Kentucky. Jalen Naylor, Jaden Reed, they both went over 100 for Michigan State. Jaden Reed also brought an 88-yard punt return back to the house. Yeah, a lot of great receiving performances, a high-scoring, high-octane game here.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, that 17 catches is the most that we've covered so far. So,
oh yeah,
I don't know what the college record is or whatever for a single game, but I know the NFL is like 21 or something like that by Brandon Marshall a couple years ago.
Yeah. Defensively, Maverick Hansen for Michigan State, 2 tackles, 2 solos, sack, tackle for loss, pass deflection, and a QB. Hurry! Tell me about Angelo Gross. I know you want to.
I mean, it's only one PD there, but yeah, 16 tackles, 11 solos. I'll take that.
Good
He's all over the field.
Yeah, I already said that. Michigan State covered over 67. Let's go to number 25, Clemson, back on track, beating Boston College, 1913. Great year in America. Actually, no, I have no idea what happened in 1913. Wasn't it like World War I or something like that?
Yeah, I think so.
But
Clemson, even though they won this game, Clemson, they just don't look good at all.
Well, DJ Uiagalelei sucks. That's why.
Yeah.
Because the offensive line, as you can see by Kobe Pace's rushing stats, the offensive line was opening rushing lanes. They just can't pass protect apparently. But yeah, it was crazy, to watch the AP poll come out this week because they dropped Clemson out of the rankings for the first time. I don't know how long.
No, but I hate to keep comparing them to last year because they did lose a lot, but did they really lose a lot on the offensive line? Because
Yes.
they did lose a lot on the offensive line too.
Well, I don't know about like graduations, but I know at least they lost Jackson Carman.
Well, I know that, but I didn't know if there was more than just him.
I'm not sure.
Because this team just offensively looks so lackluster compared to what it has been in the last couple of years. Again, I know that they've lost a lot, and it's been a lot of transitions and stuff because they lost like 4. Off the top of my head, I can think of 4 key offensive pieces, but still.
Yeah, the worst thing was is that their defense is still good. I mean,
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. But yeah, it's gonna be weird on Friday not picking a Clemson game for the first time on their show. So. Yeah, I already talked about Kobe Pace. Joseph Ngata had over 100 yards. Of DJ's 207, he accounted for more than half of them. Trey Berry, he's another tight end in the country that is having a good season. 7 for 82, the leading receiver for the Eagles. And a lot of great defensive performances in this one. And I don't even know who to go with because there's too many to pick. So I don't know. Xavier Thomas, 3 tackles, 3 solos, sack, 2 tackles lost, QB hurry. Unless we wanted to go with Alex's boy, James Skalski. So. But this was one of the few games I included the kicker because BT Potter was the only reason Clemson won. Hit all 4 field goals in this game and an extra point. Boston College covered plus 14.5, under 47. Louisiana, 20-18, a win over previously undefeated South Alabama. The Raging Cajuns getting the win. Levi Lewis was terrible. The absolute. Jake Bentley, I didn't even know Jake Bentley was playing for USA.
Neither did I.
Former South Carolina and Utah quarterback, Jake Bentley. Just keep going down, Jake. Keep going down until you find a place you can win. SEC to Pac-12 and now to Sun Belt. But yeah, this was a very boring game. I didn't get to watch it, but based off the statistics, it was not very fun. Brian Hill with 2 touchdowns, 81 yards, 22 carries for the Panthers. But Cajuns got it done. And they did.
This game was too close for my liking, though.
They did it with a 1-yard touch. No, they did it holding a 2-point conversion. For USA because it was 20-0 in the second quarter for Louisiana. And South Alabama made it 20-6 at halftime and then got 2 more touchdowns. It's crazy though. The extra points in this game, Louisiana missed their 3rd extra point. South Alabama's first extra point was blocked. They missed their 2nd extra point, and then they had to go for 2 to tie it at the end.
That's crazy. I was wondering that because 18 is a very odd score. So,
but yeah, Jalen Tolbert really the star of the game, I guess. 6 for 143 through the air. Just wasn't enough. Didn't get in the end zone. And defensively, I'm going with Chauncey Manick for the Raging Cajuns. 7 tackles, 5 solos, sack, 2 tackles lost, QB hurt.
Yeah, you can't go wrong there. I mean, Zion Hill too. He only had 3 tackles, 3 solos, but he also got in the backfield with the sack there. But yeah, Chauncey Manick, I think, has the best line there.
South Alabama covered +12, under 53. Number 22, Auburn beating LSU 24-19. Max Johnson over 300 yards, but did throw an interception, under 60% completion. And the job that Bo Nix did by leading Auburn to this comeback, beating LSU for the first time since 1999. First win at LSU.
Mm-hmm.
In Baton Rouge for the first time since 99. Yeah, LSU was up 13-0. Auburn came back 13-10 at halftime. Then LSU was up 19-10. And once again, Auburn came back with 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to win it.
I like that. I lone wolf them on Friday's show, and yeah, I mean, I mainly picked them because I have no faith in LSU right now. They again, I hate that I keep going back to like past seasons, but they had that magical season 2 years ago with Joe Burrow and co. That after they left, last year was a down season for them, and then it seems like it's kind of continuing into this year. They're a little bit better than they were last year, but I still don't think that they're that great.
Well, I think they're on the cusp. I think next season is going to be a big year for LSU because Max Johnson will be in his second full year as a starter. Keishawn Butte will be another year. And those two for LSU have been spectacular. It's just the fact they got to find a running game, and they got to find other people outside of Butte that can contribute in the passing game. And they need their defense to play better because we've had LSU on here, maybe 4 times through 5 weeks? And not once have we had Derek Stingley on here.
Mm-mm.
So how far his stock has fallen from supposedly being the next great LSU corner, and I haven't heard anything nationally about him at all. So,
nope.
Yeah, defensively, Derek Hall for Auburn, 8 tackles, 4 solos, 1.5 sacks, 1.5 tackles lost, and a QB hurry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if TJ Finley started the game and got hurt or what, because he did throw 4 passes, 1 for 4 for 35 yards. And then Bo Nix played the majority of the game. But I don't know. I didn't watch the game. So.
Nope.
Auburn +3, under 56. Arizona State with a blowout win over number 20 UCLA at the Rose Bowl. Jaden Daniels, efficient. Didn't turn the ball. I think that's the biggest thing that Arizona State, this is like the first time they were 3-1 coming into this, so they hadn't played really anyone. Their big loss was to BYU at Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. But I think this is the biggest thing for Jaden Daniels not to turn the ball over, and look what happens. They win.
Yeah. But, I mean, just looking over these stats here, I mean, Daniels only attempted 19 passes and carried the ball 6 times. So that's 25 times where the ball was in his hands. And then, I mean, the 2 running backs you have here, another 25 carries. So that's 50-50 right there. Yeah. So that's another way like I said before, with the was it with the Western Kentucky game or whatever it was? When you balance out the offense, I feel like you're better off winning that way.
Yeah. DTR fall back to earth, which I kind of happy to see, even though I picked UCLA. But it's fine. Zach Charbonnet got back on track for him, though. 89 yards for over 4 per carry. Britton Brown also scored on the ground. But really, that's I think, kind of big issue. Granted, they do have, for UCLA, they did have Kyle Phillips score a touchdown. But I don't really know if UCLA has big threat wide receiver. Greg Dulcich is really their best guy, but he's a tight end. I think they do have a guy. I'm pretty sure they have a receiver named Josh Kelly. I think he was hurt or is hurt because he's not on the stat sheet. So
yeah,
not sure what his issue is right now, but yeah. Good win for Arizona State. Ricky Pearsall, 132 and 2 touchdowns off 4 receptions as well. So defensively, let's go Anthony Cooper for the Sun Devils. 4 tackles, 2 solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles loss. Arizona State +3 over 56. All right, last one. Another upset. Late night upsets, man. I didn't watch these games. I was out with my friends, but Hawaii beating number 18 Fresno State 27-24. This was in Honolulu. So, traveling, even though it's Fresno State, so they only had to go from California to Hawaii, but still to travel to Hawaii, they have the strictest COVID protocols of any state in the U.S. because Hawaii can't play any road games. They're not allowed to play outside of Hawaii. So, yeah. And they don't have fans in the stands either in the Hawaii games. So Jake Haener, you can't turn the ball over 5 times. Now, I don't know how Fresno State won the game, turning it over 5 times. I really don't.
No. No, but we saw it when we covered them in the spring season. Hawaii is one of those teams that, whether they're good or not, they're always going to be kind of playing you hard, whether that's because of the whole travel thing or what, I don't know. But Hawaii always seems to be in all their games, or most of their games, I should say.
Yeah, I was surprised when they were in a close one against San Jose State a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Or actually, I guess they did travel for a couple road games already. Because they played at UCLA and at Oregon State. I thought that was the thing, though, that they weren't allowed to. I don't know. And they also went to New Mexico State last weekend. I don't know. I could have sworn I heard somewhere that they weren't allowed to play road games because of the COVID thing. I don't know yet. Or maybe they are like the only people in Hawaii that are allowed to go outside. Otherwise, it's like a 2-week thing.
Mm-hmm.
But Hawaii plus 11.5 and under 64. I forgot to put this one on the script, but yeah.
Sure.
Battle of North Dakota. This one was at North Dakota. Number 5 North Dakota State beating number 10 North Dakota 16-10. And neither quarterback played well. Otis Weah had a good game on the ground for the Skyhawks.
Mm-hmm.
Or the Fighting Hawks, but NDSU did just enough.
Yeah, ugly game, but the team that was supposed to win found the way to win. So not much to say about this one.
Yeah, and I was giving a little bit of love to Quincy Patterson. Throwing the ball, he sucked. Rushing the ball, he was great. 19 for 92 and a touchdown. And that was actually the game sealing touchdown because put him up 16-10 with a minute 13 to go. So, but yeah, mostly North Dakota State all day. Besides the couple scores for UMD. Wait. Dawson Weber with the pick for the Bison. The only defensive stats we can get for FCS games. So, and North Dakota covered plus 13 and the under 48 hit. I really wish they would just release those spreads and over-unders
Mm-hmm.
so I could have them, but we never have the FCS spreads on Fridays because they don't release until game time or game day. All right, NFL. And before we get to NFL, just want to say, I forgot to say this at the beginning, but the NASCAR race got postponed from yesterday to today. But congratulations to Bubba Wallace for winning, becoming the first black driver to win a race since 1963. Only the second one ever to win a race. So yeah, great day for Bubba Wallace and the 2011 team owned by driver Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan. So. All right. Chiefs beating the Eagles in Philly 42-30.
Mm-hmm.
Had his best career game. Really?
Yeah.
He balled out. 387, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers, 47 on the ground. Patrick Mahomes is just better. A lot of work right now. I mean, 5 touchdowns for Mahomes. Just ridiculous. 3 of them going to Tyreek Hill. He just fantasy and a couple. It was not very pretty.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I could really argue that Jalen Hurts had a better game because obviously 5 touchdowns to 2. But other than the touchdowns, yeah, Jalen Hurts did have the better game. So, I mean, we kind of touched on it before the show. It was more that the Eagles defense just couldn't stop Mahomes in the scoring situations.
Yeah. I had hope a bunch of times during the game, but I also had bet Chiefs -7. So.
Yeah, it's funny because I was watching this one closely too because my girlfriend's dad had the Eagles +7, so we were rooting the whole time for the Eagles to at least get within a touchdown, and they kept getting there, and then the Chiefs would score again. They kept getting to it, and then the Chiefs would score. So it was a tough game to watch, but yeah, this was one of the. I don't think it was necessarily a controversial catch, but that one catch that Dallas Goedert made in the end zone, I don't know. I feel like they could have called that an incomplete pass, but
Yeah, I don't know. The Eagles got 2 touchdowns called back in this one. That made it 3 touchdowns in 2 games called back from penalties, and they're the most penalized team in the league right now, which Nick Sirianni in his press conference today said the words were more explicit in this week's team meeting about penalties. Fix it from last game. So, yeah, it's a big issue. That's kind of why the Eagles have lost not the main reason. I mean, they've ran into two offensive juggernauts the last 2 weeks. So what can you do, really? I mean, but
And why aren't they throwing to Devontae Smith in the end zone?
I don't know.
They're throwing it to him between the 20s, but then once they get close, they don't throw it to him. I don't like it.
They have big guys like Dallas Goedert, who Jalen Hurts loves in the red zone. And I think it's Devontae has issues getting open in those short areas. I think that's probably one of the other issues.
Yeah.
And he's not a jump ball guy because he's small.
So do a screen pass and let him run it in.
Yeah. I don't know. Don't ask me. Next year, Jan had the best play calling. So, yeah, defensively, and go with Mike Dana for Kansas City. 4 tackles, 3 solo, 2 sacks, 2 tackles lost, 2 QB hits. But I'll also mention Javon Hargrave because he is having a career season right now for the Eagles. He is their leading sacker and really dominating almost every guard he's went up against so far. So
Yeah, there wasn't much to be happy with defense though in this game, but yeah, those 2 guys I think did pretty good.
the thing is, Devon Hargrave's outplaying Fletcher Cox right now, and Fletcher Cox is making a lot of freaking money.
Mm-hmm. That's what happens when you get older, though. You lose a step.
Yeah.
Except if your name's Tom Brady. That's beside the point.
Chiefs covered -6.5 over 55. Cowboys give the Panthers lost 36-28 in Dallas. Really, game changed on the 2 interceptions, both by Trayvon Diggs.
Mm-hmm.
I need to look up somewhere where I can find Trayvon Diggs Defensive Player of the Year because, yeah, he has 5 interceptions through 4 games now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it puts him in the favorite, but it definitely puts him in the conversation. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like the story in this game though was the running backs for both teams. Ezekiel Elliott looked like vintage Zeke there, with 20 carries for 143 and a touchdown. And then Chuba Hubbard, I mean, 13 for 57. That's a decent average, or 4.4. But I think where they really missed is he only had 2 for 14 in receptions. So I think that they really missed McCaffrey here, which I kind of expected them to kind of miss him a little bit, but I thought it wasn't going to be that big of a deal, but it seemed like it was in this game.
Yeah, I mean, DJ Moore continues to be the guy for Sam Darnold, which again is still perplexing. I was disappointed fantasy-wise by Robbie Anderson this week. I started him this week knowing that the Cowboys are susceptible to the pass and did decent, 9.6 fantasy points. But he got 11 targets, which is what I liked to see. I was hoping that he can get the end zone for one. And for 2, he can get more downfield throws than he has had. So
yeah, but yeah, I mean the 5 for 11 though, you already mentioned it. That's under 50%. That's 5 catches and 6 missed, or 6 whatever. But I didn't get a chance to really watch this one. But were they bad thrown balls, or did he drop them, or I don't know.
I think there was. I don't think there was many drops, if there were. But I don't. It's whatever. He can keep getting 11 targets per game. Eventually, he'll break out. So. Yeah, defensively, like I said, Trayvon Diggs, but also Randy Gregory, him and Osa Digizua were destroying the line, which was crazy because the Cowboys had a lot of quarterback hits, and the Panthers didn't. After being the best pressure team in the league the first 3 weeks, so. That was interesting. I thought that the Panthers' defensive line would play well against Cowboys' offensive line that I don't think is the greatest. So, Cowboys covered -4 over 52. Washington football team winning in Atlanta 34-30. Taylor Heineke, I told you, man, he is the real deal.
Yeah.
But he outdueled Matt Ryan and freaking Cordero Patterson, who was another player that just railed me in fantasy this week. Yeah. But Antonio Gibson had a decent day. And McLaurin continues to just eat. So.
Yeah, but I mean, another one, just kind of like Robbie Anderson, he was only 6 catches out of 13 targets. So I don't know what's going on there, but obviously he has the targets, just not the catches. Ridley too for Atlanta, 7 for 13, or 7 out of 13, I should say. He was a little bit of a disappointment for me in fantasy.
You know, I traded him away. You already know that. I needed running back.
Yeah, but I think the other story here too. I mean, I know Atlanta's a high-powered offense, but Washington's defense continues to disappoint. I think.
Oh yeah, their secondary is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. Like, if your secondary is that bad, you don't got time to get to the quarterback because they're not covering them for long enough. So.
Nope.
I think it's the secondary linebackers because when you see Cordero Patterson with 82 yards and 3 touchdowns, you know, he's not getting covered by corners. He's getting covered by the linebackers coming out of the backfield. So that is probably one of the things is that they have a rookie playing at middle linebacker and Jamin Davis. But the other two, I don't know. Let's see. DeAndre Carter, 101-yard kick return touchdown in this one. Really helped spark the Washington football team comeback. It was kind of back and forth all day, but that was the key points of the game. And there's my boy. I said about earlier when you were asking about the other Fatu Kasi, and I was thinking Foyesade. Good game for him. 6 solos. Sack, pass deflection, 2 QB hits. 2 guys had 3 pass deflections in this game, Chris.
Yeah, I like it.
Washington football team covered -1.5 over 48. Bills blanking the Texans. Good Lord. 40-0. Davis Mills, ferocious. 4 interceptions. Josh Allen, he did throw one as well, but pretty decent. I was very pissed off because Zach Moss scored and not Devin Singletary. And all that I had to do, all that I needed, well, it didn't matter anyway. It didn't end up mattering anyways because Robbie Anderson didn't score either. But yeah, I was hoping. I had the little 3 3-leg touchdown parlay that didn't occur. So it is what it is. But yeah, Texans have no running game. Diggs went over 100 again. Mitch Trubisky got a touchdown on the ground. I mean, it was like freaking Oprah in this one. Everyone gets a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that Josh Allen actually played for pretty much the whole game. Being that they were up big early. Like, I don't know. This is the kind of game where I feel like he should have been benched probably by the fourth quarter because they had the game locked up and sealed by then.
yeah. You know, it is what it is. Yeah, like I said, decent performance by him. 3 guys down there with the same stat line, essentially. Starlo Tulane, Whitney Merciless, and Boogie Basham. All with sack, tuck, floss, QB hit. Bills covered, minus 17.5, under 47.
Texans couldn't score at least a touchdown to push it.
I don't know. All right. Bears beat the Lions 24-14 in Chicago. I have no idea why or how they beat the Lions. David Montgomery, that's why.
Mm. Yeah,
But again, throwing for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. He turned it over twice, yeah, but I still don't know.
Yeah, I heard you trash talking me on Friday with this pick, but hey, I picked the Bears. I lone wolfed them, and it worked out for me. Yeah, Jared Goff had a decent game, but it's still Jared Goff. It's still the Lions, and I still have no faith in them whatsoever.
I think the difference you saw in the Bears' offensive game plan was the deep passes for Justin Fields were clicking against a secondary that is beat up. They're pretty thin in the secondary. So
yeah, and another thing I noticed in this game compared to the previous games for Justin Fields, he only has 3 carries, so he didn't really run the ball a lot like he did in his previous couple appearances. I mean, he only threw the ball 17 times, so like you said, they leaned on David Montgomery a lot.
which
But yeah, I think the key was Fields didn't run the ball a lot.
leaning on David Montgomery ended up being a bad decision for them, though, as we'll talk about in a little bit. But yeah, I was disappointed. Darnell Mooney, he had been sitting on my bench, and he goes off for freaking 17.5 points.
Yeah,
So,
I started Jamal Williams in our dynasty, and he only got me that 6.6 right there.
well, I don't understand why he led the team in carries. I don't know, like, was Swift hurt or?
I think Williams has supplanted himself as the running back, and Swift is more the pass catching back. So I think that's why.
That's perfectly fine. I'm okay with that situation because the Lions are going to be down in almost every single game. So if that means Swift's going to be a PPR monster, I'm okay with that.
Hmm.
As long as he's scoring a touchdown here and there. Khalif Raymond, 2 touchdowns here for the Lions. Sure. And, yeah, Alec Ogletree, pretty good solo tackle to overall tackle number ratio.
Mm-hmm.
10 out of his 12. But I'm going to go Travis Gibson. 4 tackles, 3 solos, sacked, 2 tackles lost, pass selection, and a QB hit.
Yeah, Chicago's defense had a good game all around. All 4 of those guys, really. All the linebackers.
I think just like Trayvon Diggs, I think Roquan's still there through 4 games. Defensive Player of the Year, Roquan Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Bears -3 covered, under 42. I had a teaser parlay, and I couldn't believe that the Lions couldn't cover 9. Granted, this is the second week in a row that a 9+ team hasn't covered in a teaser. When I had the Eagles +9.5 on Monday Night Football. Colts beat the Dolphins 27-17 in Miami. Again, this was a game that I was just perplexed on how they won. As you saw on Friday, I flipped at the last second, and because Mark was rolling with me, I flipped him as well. Dolphins, because they had 3 guys out on defense that I thought would make major impacts, and it didn't end up mattering because Jacoby Brissett sucks. I should have known. I said Jacoby Brissett sucks when they played the Raiders, and then they did the Raiders.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that you went with the Dolphins because of your feelings on Jacoby Brissett. But
this was even for him. It was a Colts revenge game.
I don't know. I had more faith in the Colts. I had faith in the Colts offense, which kind of paid off for me. Wentz actually had a great game. 75% completion percentage, 228 yards and 2 touchdowns. No turnovers for him, which was great. And then obviously the name that we talk about every time we talk about the Colts, Jonathan Taylor, 16 carries for 103 and a touchdown. He is the staple of that offense. And when he gets going, that entire offense gets going.
Yeah. I still want more from Jonathan Taylor in terms of fantasy. Even though it was pretty solid. About 20-point day this week for once. He had not been putting up those kind of fantasy numbers the first couple of weeks, but yeah, Pittman pretty decent as well. Parker was another guy I had on my bench in a couple leagues that went off for 17 points.
Yeah, I have yet to start Pittman this year, I think. And I mean, he had 11.9 points there. So that's not a bad performance, but I could have used him this week because, like I said, I started Jamal Williams ahead of him, and Jamal only got 6.6. So.
Oh, I know. I started Cole Beasley in a couple of leagues because they were playing the Texans. I thought, well, everyone's going off. Nope.
Oh yeah, I started him too in our dynasty.
But yeah, defensively, Kamoko Ture, 2 sacks, 2 tackles lost, 3 QB hits for rookie Jalen Phillips though as well, half a sack too. Colts +2.5 over 43 by 1.
Mm-hmm.
Browns low scoring affair in Minnesota beat the Vikings 14-7. Yeah, it was ugly all day. It was weird though. This one was so weird. Both teams just opened up and just said, "Screw it, we're gonna go for 4th down a lot." And I think that happened on like the first 3 drives between them. And it's just, what are you doing? Like, you already know they lost. They didn't get it on 4th down. Why not kick a field goal? Yeah, I mean, it actually wasn't that much. The Browns only went for it once, and they didn't get it. Vikings were 1 for 3 on 4th down. So it wasn't actually that much. It just seems like it because it was just right out of the gate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the thing that stands out to me, the thing that stands out to me in this game though, is the fact that Dalvin Cook only got 11 touches in this game, 9 carries and 2 catches. So did he? I was gonna say, did he get hurt?
Yeah, again.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, he rolled his ankle like that. But what a fantasy machine Kareem Hunt has become.
Yeah, I don't like it. He's taken away from Nick Chubb.
Yeah, Chubb definitely not getting receptions, that's for sure. But yeah, Kareem Hunt's been scoring touchdowns and not Nick Chubb.
Exactly. That's my point. He's stealing all the touchdowns from Chubb.
Well, look, he has a better average. What do you want from him? If Chubb wants to score touchdown, he's got to get a better average than Kareem Hunt does.
It's 0.1 yards per carry. Relax.
Yeah, but when you carry it 10 times, you get 1 yard. So, 1 extra yard. But yeah, Justin Jefferson, decent day for him. And Rashard Higgins actually leading the Browns in receiving in this game.
Mhm.
That guy had him on my bench because I wasn't sure who was going to step up in the absence of Jarvis Landry. And apparently,
Well, I was gonna say, is Higgins the number 2 right now?
so there's talk about Donovan Peoples-Jones, but I don't know. Then there's also the threat of Anthony Schwartz, Demetric Felton. Dude, Myles Garrett wrecking again. Hit Kirk Cousins 4 times, half sack, 2 tackles for loss. So, yeah, he's there.
Another solid candidate for defensive player of the year.
And I'm mad that I didn't put him and that I just talked about him for defensive player of the year. I don't even remember who I said.
You picked Chase Young.
That's right. But he's not winning, so he can't cover to help him get sacks. So
Nope.
the Browns covered -1 under 52. Way under. Giants winning in overtime in the Caesars Superdome 27-21 over the Saints. Saquon Barkley with the game-winning rushing touchdown.
I don't even know what to say about this game.
I wasn't following the game. I was watching other ones because I had no interest in this one. But Daniel Jones' yard seems intriguing.
No, I was watching this game because obviously I'm in the market for the Giants and I'm a Saints fan. So I was watching this one, but I missed the end of the game because I was focused on the Jets game because they were actually winning for once.
Same time.
So I missed the end of this one, but yeah, this yesterday was probably the most stressed out I've been as a sports fan, and I don't know how long. Between the Jets actually winning a game, the Saints winning and then losing in the end, and also my Yankees clinching a playoff spot in baseball. So it was a good day for me yesterday in sports, but yeah, this game, I don't know what happened. The Saints were up by 11 at one point, I think. I think it was like at one point, and then they just took their foot off the gas. I don't know what happened. Because then the Giants came storming back, they tied it up, and then yeah, they had that drive in overtime that Saquon took it in and won the game.
Yeah, 21-10 with 12 minutes to go in the game.
Uh-huh. Yeah. It was a bad collapse there for the Saints. But the thing that killed them, though, or I don't know if you could necessarily say killed them, but that John Ross touchdown, the 50-something yard touchdown, he came out of nowhere and caught the touchdown but actually technically he didn't catch a touchdown. He caught the ball, fumbled it at the 1, and then recovered it in the end zone.
I did see that. But yeah, I think this is a game that Giants fans are waiting to see. It kind of all came together offensively at the end with Kenny Golladay going over 100 for the first time in his Giants career.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, contributors like John Ross without Sterling Shepard or who's the other one that's out? Ingram's still out, but I thought they had another receiver out, right?
I'm trying to remember. I can't think. But no, but another thing I saw yesterday during the the broadcast that I was surprised about. I don't know if he got any. I don't think he did. So I think he's still looking for him. But Alvin Kamara has not had a play of 15 yards or more yet this season. Through 4 games, he has not had a big play yet, which is very unlike him and unlike the Saints. But I think it's also because they're not throwing him the ball.
That's what I was gonna say. He had
They're
0.
not. Yeah, they're not throwing him the ball, which is a big problem. I think because they changed the quarterbacks now, because Jameis Winston is now the quarterback, he's not used to doing the short out passes to the running back. He's used to throwing it down the field like he has been. And, I mean, he's been doing that okay. 17 for 23 is a decent percentage there, 73.9 and 226. So, yeah, he's throwing the ball downfield, but he's not doing it short, which is how the Saints have been winning in the past.
Yeah, Kamara didn't even get targeted in this one.
And I think that was the other thing, too.
Yep.
This was like the first game. I don't know if it was in his career or if in forever that he hasn't actually caught a pass.
Yeah, the other 3 running backs all caught passes though. Ty Montgomery had 3 for 42 off 3 targets.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Dwayne or DeAndre? Dwayne Washington, 1 catch for 6 yards on 1 target, and then Tony Jones Jr. 1 reception for a negative 3 yards off 3 targets. So, yeah. Giants +7 over 42.
Oh, and just another kind of like a kind of nugget that I heard during the broadcast yesterday too is if something happens to Jameis Winston during a game where another quarterback has to come in, it would be Trevor Siemian coming in. But if something happens to him at practice during the week, it would be Taysom Hill at quarterback. The reason being they don't want to lose the element of Taysom Hill at all those other positions in the middle of a game.
I want Ian Book. Give me Ian Book.
No, he's nowhere near ready to be on the NFL field.
You're saying you'd rather have Trevor Siemian?
Yeah, because at least Simeon has somewhat of NFL experience and has had success in the past.
All right. Defensively, Dexter Lawrence, the only guy with actual more than 1 stat.
Yeah, he made up for his blunder against Washington.
A little bit, anyways. All right. To the other New York team, your Jets, Chris. Also winning time, 27-24 against the Titans at MetLife Stadium. And yeah, Zach Wilson almost 300 yards.
Yeah, I sent you that text message in our group chat. I feel bad for that one guy. He had a bet in that both Tannehill and Wilson would hit 300 yards, and they were a combined 5 yards short of doing that. And I think it was plus 2,500 if I can remember correctly. So that would have been a nice payout there for him. But yeah, the story of this game though, I mean, the Jets all around had a good game yesterday. The offense actually clicked for once, and the defense continued to shine on the Jets. They had, I think, 7 total sacks yesterday. And although the only thing is they didn't have a turnover, which they had a couple chances. They could have had a couple interceptions, but they obviously didn't get that. But yeah, Zach Wilson shined again. He had that one really bad interception, went right to I don't even know who intercepted it. I forget who picked it off, but it was a really bad pass. It was right to the guy. There was no Jets around him. But then he had that 53 or 54, however long the pass was to Corey Davis for the touchdown. And yeah, I think what really helped Zach Wilson in this game though was the return of Jamison Crowder. He didn't have him in the first 3 games, but Crowder, 7 catches on 9 targets for 61 yards and a touchdown. I'm kind of mad because I just traded away Crowder, but
Yeah,
I could have used him this week, but that's whatever.
if Derrick Henry had another Derrick Henry game. I had Corey Davis on my bench in a couple leagues. It's great to see him get like 20 points.
Yeah.
But yeah, great drive by Ryan Tannehill to tie the game too. But yeah, the missed field goal at the end.
Yeah, when that happened, like that whole sequence, my heart was pounding so hard and so fast. Between them tying the game to make it to go to overtime, then the Jets' possession in overtime, the play calling was very suspect, to say the least, because they had 3rd and goal from the 1. They should have just tried to run it up the middle or do something, but they had Wilson roll out right, and he ended up losing 3 or 4 yards on the play.
I would have appreciated another Michael Carter touchdown in fantasy. Seeing as he's my only other running back on my one dynasty roster, so
but
by default in with McCaffrey hurt right now.
I mean, but he seems to have definitely earned himself the number 1 running back spot on the Jets right now.
My thing is it going to matter? That's the thing. Like, is it going to matter?
I mean, what's that? 10 or 11 fantasy points right now for him yesterday?
Yeah, but I'm saying even if he is the number 1 running back, how much is he going to impact because of the likelihood that the Jets are going to be down in most games?
Hey, I don't know. But yeah. The one thing I didn't like about this game though was the Jets gave up a couple big chunk plays. One that I can think of specifically was a 3rd and 21 that they ended up allowing the Titans to convert with a screen pass to Jeremy McNichols, and he took it like 24 yards or something like that.
Yeah, there's a 3rd and 21. When I had when I saw like the game just randomly, I was looking at I don't know. I thought I saw a crazy kind of yardage thing that the Titans converted, or maybe they got a penalty. I don't know what it was. I don't know. Maybe it was a different game. I don't know. I could have swore one of the games this week I saw like a 4th and 33, and then it was 1st down somehow. But yeah, defensively, a lot of great performances in this game. The Williams boys for the Jets, both having really good games. Harold Landry for the Titans. Bryce Hall, defensive back for the Jets, with 3 pass deflections, 2 QB hits, and half a sack. And then John Franklin Myers as well, Bryce Huff, and the like. Can't pick one.
CJ Mosley also having another good game for the Jets.
Jets +6 over 45. That's crazy, that because both of those New York teams wouldn't have gone over had they not gone to overtime. Cardinals, this showdown of the weekend, 37-20, beating Rams in LA, 37-20. Yeah, the Cardinals have the best offense in the league.
Oh yeah.
And I need to starting James Conner in fantasy. That's what I've learned. The thing is, though, he's averaging 2.8 yards per carry, but he scores every week.
Mm-hmm.
Back-to-back games with 2 touchdowns. And it's so conflicting. I don't know what to do.
I had a couple players in this game too. I had Van Jefferson and AJ Green both on my bench. So yeah, I left a lot of points on my bench this week, but
very
it's all right.
disappointed with Cooper Kupp, his first dud of the season. And when I say dud, I mean, he still scored 11.4, but when he was scoring like 25 points per game.
I mean, he was targeted 13 times though and only caught 5 balls, so he missed 8 somehow.
Well, Stafford did miss him a bunch. There were a couple that I saw that were a little too wide from Stafford's perspective. But that was also, even though I don't think there was a lot of QB hits, I think there was some pressure or some blitzes that made Stafford throw it quicker than he wanted to. I don't know. Is Max Williams a thing? Because the last,
he's looked good.
So I mean that's just what the rest of the NFL needs, though, is the Cardinals to have another weapon. They already have Hopkins, Green, Kirk,
Yeah. He's another one that I had on my bench too. I picked up Williams after last week when he had that big game.
Dude, it's like,
yeah.
Who do you cover? But yeah, anyways. Chase Edmonds, great game, 120 yards, 10 yards per carry there. Stafford, obviously his worst game as a Ram so far. But still high on them. Still think they're going to go very far. Yeah. I need more from Robert Woods, though. Need more from Robert Woods in fantasy. Defensively, not much. Jalen Ramsey, 5 tackles, 4 souls, tackle loss, 2 pass selections. Cardinals +4, 55. That's it. Other NFC West matchup, Seahawks getting the dub in San Francisco, 28-21 in Santa Clara, I should say. Jimmy G got hurt halfway through this game. Trey Lance came in, threw 2 touchdowns, one a very long touchdown to Deebo Samuel, which accounted for most of both of their yards. But I wouldn't really call it a great throw because Deebo was wide open on a coverage by the Seahawks defense. So I didn't think Trey Lance looked that great. Obviously, he only threw 50% completion. And obviously, he wasn't able to bring them back being down.
What was Garoppolo's injury, though? Do you know?
Calf, but we'll talk about it.
Because I'm just saying, if that keeps him out for at least the next game, then we'll actually get to see Trey Lance start a game and see how he does for a full game. Obviously, it's tough for any quarterback to come in mid-game, especially when you're down. But I think it's especially tough for a rookie in that kind of situation. So we'll have to see whoever starts. If it's Trey Lance, we'll get a chance to see how he does in a game in a full week of preparation as a starter and all that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Really good game for Trey Sermon. His real first start in the league. 89 yards off 19 carries. Another guy I was disappointed for fantasy was Chris Carson. I mean, Alex Collins led the Seahawks in rushing in this one and scored a touchdown. So what the hell is Chris Carson doing? I have no idea. But this one was also very weird because the Niners were dominating defensively throughout the quarter and a half. And then Russ has the drive that finished with just under 2 minutes to go in the first half. And they scored, tied it up at 7. And then it was all Seahawks. I mean, they went down, they scored 2 touchdowns within a minute, almost within a minute of each other. And that was really the game. And also it was a detriment to the Niners that Robbie Gould was, I don't know if he's injured pregame or if he was just injured and they just didn't have a backup kicker on their practice squad. I don't know. But he was on the sidelines dressed and Wisnowski was doing all the kicking. So, and he missed an extra point and a field goal. So, an extra 4 points. They could have only needed a field goal at the end instead of a touchdown. But yeah, Kittle was disappointing in this one. Obviously, it hurt when Trey Lance came in, having such a great rapport with Garoppolo. I know fantasy owners hate Ross Dwelly for catching a touchdown and not Kittle. Tyler Lockett owners probably hate Freddie Swain for catching a touchdown too. But defensively, D Ford, him and Nick Bosa combining for 5 quarterback hits, 3 sacks, and 2 tackles for loss. Seahawks plus 2.5. I hit that one. And under 52. Packers beating the Steelers in Lambeau 27-17 Super Bowl 45 rematch between Aaron Rodgers and Ben Roethlisberger. Rodgers not the greatest. I mean, under 60% completion. Did throw touchdowns, ran for another one. And A.J. Dillon led the Packers in rushing, which was also weird. I was happy, though, with the Steelers' running game in this one. 2 yards for Najee. He got in the end zone again, was over 4 yards per carry, which is what you want to see. And Najee has become a PPR monster, having 20 receptions between the last 2 games combined. 14 last week and 6 yesterday. And I know, I hear it every freaking Sunday. The people hate Big Ben. It's not his fault though.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
He does not have time to throw the ball. Like, I don't know what Steelers fans want from him when he's given them so many years and 2 Super Bowl rings. And yet he's on the end of his career, probably his last season, and they're just destroying him in the media. But when he doesn't have time to throw it, he can't do anything.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think it's more that the fans, I mean, you're a Pittsburgh fan, so you probably know better than me, but being a Jets fan, I know all too well about the quarterback position not being all that great. And to me, being an outside fan, like, I'm not a Pittsburgh fan, obviously, but I think that they should have not necessarily gotten rid of Roethlisberger, but they should have went and addressed the quarterback position in the draft over the last couple of years.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
And I think that's what fans are frustrated about.
Kevin Colbert has utterly just botched that whole situation of not getting the future That's what someone said on Twitter. You know, we've seen it twice now with the Packers of drafting quarterbacks, 2-3 years in advance. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not writing the Steelers off because they still had the defense to be in a lot of games. And I think if they can just figure the passing game out, figure out how to protect Ben, which they did a lot better job in the second half of that. They started chipping on the edge to help the tackles out with tight ends and running backs. And I think it looked a lot better in the second half. They just need to do that for like an entire game, and then they can win. But still love Deontay Johnson. He is one of my favorite fantasy players out there, 9 for 92 and a touchdown. He is a PPR machine, especially because, well, that's the thing. The Steelers aren't throwing it downfield, or they're not throwing a lot of short passes like they were last year. It's not all short. Big Ben threw quite a bit downfield in this game. It's the issue of that he wasn't completing a lot of them. But the 45-yard touchdown to Deontay Johnson opened the game was on the money. So it's just Juju. I know they showed Juju and they read his lips saying it's a Ben problem. I'm not a big Juju person anyway, so because he's not the same guy when he's losing.
Mm-hmm.
But when he's winning, he wants to talk a lot of BS, and when he can't talk, he just blames everyone else. So defensively, TJ Watt on the stat sheet, 2 sacks in this one of Aaron Rodgers. Also strip sacked him as well. I've been happy with Melvin Ingram. I knew I was going to do that. They both are the third.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Melvin Ingram, I've been happy with his signing. He's been pretty decent for us so far. And yeah, slow game for Devontae Adams in this one as well.
Yeah, another unfortunate thing for me because I do have him in our keepers league. But
yeah. Aaron Love, you knew Aaron loves Randall Cobb though.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know if it was going to matter because Cobb hasn't looked good since he left Green Bay, but now he's back in Green Bay, so figures he's going to turn back the clock.
Yeah, Packers covered -6, under 45 by 1. I know a lot of people are hoping. I know a lot of people had Steelers +6 or +7, and they were praying for Ben to get a drive down and score one at the end. But yeah. All right, Ravens beating up on the Broncos in Denver to win their first loss of the season, 23-7. Ravens. There's a big spiel today from between Vic Fangio and John Harbaugh about the last play of the game by the Ravens running for 5 yards instead of kneeling the ball to continue their streak. Now it is at 43 straight games with 100+ rushing yards for the Ravens. And Vic Fangio said it's a whole bunch of bullshit. That he's never seen something like that in his 37 years of coaching.
Yeah, I mean, I see both sides of it though. Like the Ravens obviously wanted to continue their streak, it's whatever, and the chances of Lamar Jackson like getting hurt on that are super low. But then, like I said, there is still a chance of him getting hurt running the ball or.
Well, and then John Harbaugh's response was, well, I don't know why the Broncos were throwing it down down by 16 points with 10 seconds to go. He said, I don't know. I don't think there's a 16-point play, scoring play in today's NFL. So yeah. But yeah, I need Javonte Williams to become the starter very badly. Very badly. I need him because Melvin's getting too many touches. Granted, I have Melvin in one of my other league, my dynasty league, so it's kind of whatever. Plus, it doesn't really matter anymore because unless Justin Herbert has a 40-point game tonight, I'm gonna be 0-4 in my fraternity league. So thank you.
I need him to have a big game tonight too.
Thank you, Jake.
I think I'm down 40 in our keepers league, and I have him and Darren Waller tonight.
I'm down 9. And I have Keenan Allen and Hunter Renfrow. But yeah, Teddy Bridgewater got hurt in this game. Drew Lock came in and looked like crap. So definitely not a quarterback controversy in Denver. It was against the Ravens defense who played outstanding. Tyus Bowser with 2 sacks. I think I'm actually going to go with Caden Stearns for the Broncos. 3 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 tackles loss, pass deflection, 2 QB hits. But I'll also mention Ravens rookie outside linebacker Odafe Owe. Dude, I'm loving my defensive player of the year bet on him right now. Yeah, I got him at plus
player or defensive rookie.
Defensive rookie of the year. Did I say player?
Yeah.
Defensive rookie of the year. Dude, I'm loving that bet right now. I mean, what other defensive rookie is playing to that level right now? I can't think of any on the top of my head.
Is Diggs a rookie or no?
Huh?
Is Diggs a rookie? No. Yeah, no, I
don't think Parsons is playing outstanding right now.
No.
So I'm just saying. I got that at plus 1750. That's a $175 payout.
Well, you got a good shot there.
Yeah, if only he can keep it up for 13 more games. Yeah. So the Ravens +1, under 44. Sunday Night Football, the return of Tom Brady, and he beat his former team, became the 4th quarterback to beat all 32 teams. And congratulations, Tom Brady. You are now the all-time leading passer in NFL history.
This was probably one of the most disappointing games I've ever watched, though. Because there was so much hype leading up to this game. Even when the schedule was announced, there was so much hype about this game because everybody knew it was going to happen in this game. Everybody knew it was the return of Tom Brady, all that. And then the game itself was just such a dud of a game, I feel like. Brady didn't play all that well. And, I mean, yeah, he was I think he was outplayed by Mac Jones and Bill Belichick. But the Buccaneers still found the way to win. And I'm still mad because I started Brady in fantasy in our dynasty league. I have Mac Jones and Russell Wilson on my bench. They both outscored him by like 10 points. I thought that Brady was going to be motivated and go for like 300 yards and 5 touchdowns in this one, but he didn't even find the end zone in this game. And then the play where he broke the record was so weird too, because they hardly even acknowledged it. And then the announcers are so confused about where the ball placement was. They're like, oh, he's a yard short. And then he was like, oh, no, they got it by a yard. And I'm like, what? Like, are they moving this ball just so he can get the record on this play? Like, what is going on? It was so weird.
Yeah. I thought it was very funny, the crowd, because they said about how Tom came out the latest that they've probably ever seen Tom Brady come out of the tunnel. And he went down, did his normal let's go thing after he dogs down the sideline. Crowd got fired up by that. Bucks got the ball first, and the Boo Birds came out.
Mhm.
It was so hilarious. They started booing him right away.
It was. I mean, I kind of expected that though, because pregame it was all about him. Everybody was excited to see him back, whatever. But the second the clock started, he was the enemy.
What was crazy? Yeah, keep
Well,
going.
I was gonna say I didn't hear that much of a cheer when it was announced that he broke the record either.
No. Crazy thing about this game, Patriots had no rushing game. Damian Harris got injured. Nelson Aguilar was their leading rusher, actually. With 4. But because I like to put a running back on there, their leading running back rusher was Brandon Bolden with 1 carry for 0 yards. But it was weird that they didn't have any running game and they still were able to stay in the game. The thing is, the Patriots defense played well and bowed up. They got around the 30-yard line, forcing 3 field goals, right? 3, 4, 3. I think it was 3 because they missed 1.
Yeah.
And we all got the thing that we wanted taken away from us, though, when Nick Folk doinked off the left upright. I, along with everyone else, I think had the same idea that it would have been amazing to watch Tom Brady go down the field on the Patriots and beat them with a game-winning field goal.
Mm-hmm.
But Nick Folk couldn't help us out with that storyline, so.
I don't know though. As much as that would have been great to see, the way Tom Brady played last night, I think would have been one of the times where he wasn't going to be able to do that.
I think he would have, just because how they overall, I don't think it was good, but both teams in the 2-minute no huddle offense were great.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I would have loved that, because granted, it still wouldn't have mattered for game parlay because I had Bucks minus 6.5. I thought they were going to kill them.
Yeah, so that.
But I also had Chris Godwin player props and Cameron Brate to score a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, we all had the Bucks as our lock, and they almost lost this game. So,
Matt Judon continues to be the best free agent signing the Patriots had out of their 176 million guaranteed. Well, both their tight ends got in the end zone in this game.
mm-hmm.
Then Bucks first round pick. I guess that's who you can say always competition is right now. Joe Tryon has been playing very well for the Bucks defense as well. The only thing is, I don't think Tryon's a full-time player. I don't think he's a starter.
No.
It's JPP and Jack
And
Bear.
I didn't realize he was playing linebacker either. I thought he was a D end.
Well, they run a 3-4. So he's outside linebacker. That's why Shaq Barrett's a linebacker too.
Hmm.
But yeah, the Patriots cover plus 6.5 under 49. Let's roll through NFL news. No NCAA. But we do have NFL news. Bears head coach Matt Nagy today said quarterback Andy Dalton is still the starter when he's healthy, which could be this week, because I know he was close to returning against the Lions, but wasn't good enough to go. Weird situation happening in Washington today. Washington football team trainer Ryan Vermillion was placed on administrative leave due to an ongoing criminal investigation. They raided Washington facility today. The authorities did. And
Oh.
yeah, he is I think they said something about some abuse thing or abusive conduct. I'm not sure. I didn't read the full story yet.
The first I heard of it.
Yeah. The Vikings, they placed corner Cameron Dantzler on the COVID list. Let's go IR here. The Colts placed guard Quentin Nelson on IR. He has a high ankle sprain, so a few weeks. He'll be back. Ravens placing defensive end Derek Wolfe on IR. Packers, they placed wide receiver Marquez Valdez-Scantling on IR. The Seahawks did the same with running back Rashad Penny. Chargers did the same with linebacker Kenneth Murray. He is out with an ankle injury, went down in practice earlier this week. And the Patriots defensive end Henry Anderson, he's going to go on IR because he has a torn pec and is done for the year. Bucks tight end Rob Gronkowski, they put out that he has 4 cracked ribs, 1 broken rib, and a punctured lung. So he's out multiple weeks. Obviously didn't play last night.
Yeah, and I think his absence was big in last night's game.
Yeah.
I think it was clear. If he was in the game, I think it would have been a different story.
Bears running back David Montgomery, he injured his knee yesterday, but not believed to be a torn ACL. I know originally they said just a hyperextended knee, but at this point, I haven't heard anything definitive. Just that they said that they don't believe it's a torn ACL. So at least that's somewhat good for the Bears.
Yeah.
Broncos quarterback Teddy Bridgewater, he has concussion. Packers corner Jair Alexander, he has a sprained AC joint. And I know you talked about this before, but Niners quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, he has a calf injury. Kyle Shanahan isn't rolling him out yet for this week. So he has a chance to play. But yeah.
But I feel like that's just like the typical head coach talk that they don't want to name the starter right now, but they know it's going to be Trey Lance.
I don't know. I have no idea what the extent of the injury is. I just know that when Jimmy talked post game, they said about he talked about how he didn't think it was a ruptured Achilles, so and that he should only be out a few weeks. That's what he said originally, but now Shanahan said he still has a chance to play this week. Panthers running back Christian McCaffrey, he is returning to practice on Wednesday this week, going to test out his hamstring, see how it feels, and possibly play this week against the Eagles. One note for tonight, Josh Jacobs is officially active, so adjust your lineups accordingly.
If you can at this point.
Yeah. Dolphins wide receiver Will Fuller, he is out this week, and likely a few more weeks after that. He has a broken finger.
Oof.
Also with the Dolphins, corner Byron Jones, he's day-to-day with a quad injury. Bengals running back Joe Mixon, he has a low-grade ankle sprain. He is week to week. So Samaje Perine getting some more carries there. Washington football team injuries here. Logan Thomas, he has a hamstring injury. He is week to week. Also, guard Brandon Sheriff, he has a sprained MCL. He's out 2 to 3 weeks. And then some random stuff at the end here. Former Jets running back Josh Adams, he cleared waivers today, but he decided not to re-sign with the Jets practice squad. He is looking for some of those running back needy teams. Chance somewhere.
Hey, I'm sure the Rams could use him.
On the active roster, not the practice squad. The Niners, they hosted linebacker Michael Kendricks today for a visit. the Niners placed him on IR last month and released him from IR, so maybe a reunion is in the works. And then the Falcons, they signed punter Dustin Colquitt off of their practice squad to the 53.
So he's officially back.
Yes. Okay, that is all NFL news.
Well, wait, there's one other thing that actually popped up on my phone 20 minutes ago, but I was waiting to say it. But apparently the Jets safety Marcus May is facing charges from a DUI arrest and a car crash that occurred back in February in Fort Lauderdale. So not sure exactly what that means for his status going forward, but
Means the Jets aren't paying him.
well, yeah, that too.
All right, pick standings here. I'm down one from my Eagles pick on Monday night last week. We all got the Bengals right on Thursday, so no sweat there. Kind of, it's a field goal game, but yeah, it's all right. And before we get to the game tonight, there are 2 college games this week, both on Thursday night. Number 15, Coastal Carolina, they are 5-0 and 17.5-point favorites heading to Arkansas State.
Should be an easy win for them.
Red Wolves are 1-4. Over under is ridiculous. It's 70.
Well, the question is, can Arkansas State keep up the score to make it 70?
Yeah, I mean, because they scored 59 against UL Monroe, so
Yeah, that's UL Monroe. That's completely different than Coastal Carolina.
no. Coastal scored 59 on UL Monroe.
Oh, well, yeah.
7:30 ESPNU, and then Houston 4-1 Cougars, 4.5-point favorites at Tulane, who are 1-4. Over under for that one is 62, and that one's 7:30 on ESPN.
That's a much tougher game. Tulane's always they're 1-4, but they're always a sneaky team.
Dude, Tulane has been trash since their 5-point loss to Oklahoma. They've been a dumpster fire. And I already lost last week betting against Houston, so I will not make that mistake twice. Yeah. Houston just railed Tulsa last Thursday night. So, yeah, not doing that again. Or Friday. It was Friday, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, tonight's game. Raiders, undefeated Raiders at the Chargers. Now, this is funny. I'm picking the Chargers. First off, because I need Justin Herbert to get a freaking 40, 45-point fantasy night somehow. But I also just placed a wager for Raiders +3. So if it can be a shootout, but I'm also playing Derek Carr. I'm playing against Derek Carr in a different league. This is what happens when you get too many fantasy leagues, kids.
Hey, I'm only in the 2 that I'm in with you, and I have all sorts of things right now too. I mean, both of my opponents are done, but in our keepers league, I have Herbert and Darren Waller, and I'm down by like 40. But in our dynasty, I got Eckler and I got the Chargers defense, and I'm down by 15.
Yeah.
So
in my law league, I'm down by 43 points. All I need is 44 points from Hunter Renfrow. You know, hey, Tyreek put up 47 this week.
big difference between Tyreek and Hunter Renfrow.
Just saying. What were you saying? I thought you had more to say.
Well, I was just saying, yeah, it's a conflict of interest here because I need Darren Waller to do good, but I also need the Chargers defense to do good. So I guess if Waller can get a lot of catches and a lot of yards without scoring a touchdown, I'd be fine with that.
He's got to score a touchdown. I have Mike Williams and Darren Waller to both score. I'm also in my one dynasty league. I'm only up by 13. Actually, it's 12 point, whatever. I have Renfro versus Derek Carr.
Hey, I mean, that might be enough.
I'm just hoping he keeps throwing to him in the red zone.
Hmm.
That's what I'm praying for. I think my other league, I don't have it. No, I don't have a chance in this one. Oh, that's my other dynasty league on my fantasy league is another instance where I need a massive amount of points from Justin Herbert. The sad thing is that I would already be winning had I started Sam Darnold instead of Justin Herbert. Dang it.
Well,
But it's okay because Herbert's going to score 40 fantasy points tonight.
I would love that.
40 plus. I don't think I've seen many quarterback fantasy nights like that. It's usually only skill position players.
Yeah. Well, Herbert already had like a 36-point game this year, didn't he, or something like that?
I
believe he did.
I don't know. But yeah, and then my fraternity or our dynasty league, I am 0-3, and I will likely be 0-4. I'm only up by 12. And I have Daniel Carlson versus Mike Williams and Darren Waller. I need both of them to score a touchdown to hit my touchdown thing. So yeah.
Oh well.
43 is exactly how many I need from Justin Herbert tonight.
I'd be perfectly fine with that.
But we're all in the Chargers. Mark's technically not on. I mean, I picked for him. I just made him roll with all our LA teams. I should have made him go against us. I feel like Mark would pick the Raiders anyways. Seems like a Mark type pick.
Yeah.
All right. Raiders over under is 52 tonight. And I think it'll go over actually.
I hope it does, because that means a lot of points.
Yeah. 8:15 ESPN. Thursday night football. Rams at the Seahawks. I mean, I just feel like the Rams are just every single game is like massive for them right now. I mean, they go from the Bucs game to the Cardinals game and now in Seattle on a Thursday night. Just 3 straight games, just massive implications.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're only a 1-point favorite in Seattle.
I think that's why it's only a 1-point game, plus the games that just happened this past weekend. But yeah,
1.5.
I still think the Rams are too good of a team to lose back-to-back games here. And I mean, I don't know what the record is under Sean McVay after a loss or whatever, but I assume it's pretty good. And yeah, I think Matthew Stafford and the offense bounced back from a bad performance against the Cardinals yesterday.
Yeah, it was crazy. Peter Schrager tweeted out during the Rams-Cardinals game, you know, because anytime the Rams are up at halftime, they always show the stat. McVay's undefeated, leading at halftime. But Schrager was like, well, if you're going to show that stat every time they're leading at halftime, then you got to show what the record is when they're not leading at halftime, when they're not. And he posted it out, and it was like 5-15, and now it's 5-16 with the loss to the Cardinals. So, big time, Rams must have a lead at halftime to win, essentially.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I like the Rams. You know, I love Matthew Stafford. I wish I would have actually put the play in for Matthew Stafford MVP. But I'll have to just live with possibly winning it on here. And the Seahawks, they don't have the secondary to run with the receivers of the Rams. So I will say, though, this sets up to be a great game for Chris Carson. The one weakness in the Rams defense is rushing. So,
Which is kind of surprising with guys like Aaron Donald up front.
but you run away from him. That's why.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. You double team him every time, and you run the ball the opposite side that he's on. All right. Over under is 54 in this game. Are we gonna go over again? Another high scoring.
Yeah, I think so.
8:20 on Fox and NFL Network. First Thursday night game on Fox this season.
Sure.
All right. Next week, we'll be back recapping all the games from the college and NFL slates. And we will be previewing the Monday Night Football matchup between the Colts and Ravens in Baltimore and the Thursday night matchup between the reigning Super Bowl champ Tampa Bay Bucks in Philadelphia to play the Eagles.
Could be a very interesting game.
No, it won't be. Not with Brandon Graham out. If Brandon Graham was still playing, then it would be interesting. Tom Brady against Brandon Graham for the Super Bowl strip sack remake.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, maybe the Eagles will actually have something for Tom Brady. I don't know. Probably not. But that is all the show for today. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. FAApodcast.com is our website. And check us out here on YouTube and Facebook, as well as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and the like. Thanks, Chris. And we'll see you for Football Friday.